All right, so welcome to this episode of Deck Showcase. This one's gonna be about Palafin, and so yeah, made a deck profile video about Palafin for this format, and I sang a lot of praises about Palafin, and so I wanted to make a deck showcase for it, just to kind of show how the deck should be played, and you know, what the deck is capable of, you know. Um, so Palafin, I feel like before I start the video, Palafin was a really well designed card. Um, you know, Usually I kind of give these uh sort of descriptions in like profile videos, but just to give a short summary, Palafin was designed basically to prevent very overtuned strategies from kind of taking over, right? So maybe I'll give like a little explanation of it in a deck profile video for this format, or maybe for rotation. But yeah, uh, that's kind of why I leaned into Palafin, and so I'm gonna kind of show how the deck works and sort of what it's supposed to accomplish. And so yeah, these are some games I played earlier, and just gonna go through them, and I'll just kind of give some commentary on how the deck works. Right. So before I start, actually, let me show the list I'm playing for this video. So this is Palafin Rotom. This is the list I kind of finalized on playing for the format. Um, exact same list I went over in my deck profile video. Not a single card change. Um, yeah. So yep, if you want to kind of get an in-depth look at this deck, then you can watch my deck profile video about it. And yeah, so that's the list. And so yeah, we'll get right into it. This is more of an odds-based list. Sort of give you a disclaimer here. So these games are going to be very, I wouldn't say all over the place, but they're going to be very interesting. I would say. So game one, my opponent's going first and playing Charizard. It looks like just draw pass, and yeah, I was like, wow, I got top deck Town Store, got Jet Energy, and yeah, they have no basics on their bench. Now I got the active. That's game, right? Feels good to beat a Charizard, you know. However you beat it, Charizard always good to beat, And I've been wondering where all the Charizards were. I guess they're just in Master Rank. So yeah, All right, man. I'm going first. Another Charizard. I got spooked a little bit here because I'm like, yo, another Charizard. I thought I was going second, so I just benched a Manaphy. Then I went for an attack, and I'm like, wait, I'm not going first. I'm not going second. I mean, and yeah, so they opened two Poffins. And I mean, got a pretty decent start. Here I was thinking of bringing up the Radiant Charizard, but there's not really a point of hitting it honestly. And I can just put damage on the Pidgeot, and I can just bring it up later. Or if he misses, um, I can just kill the Pidgeot, right? So yep, they're pretty not drawn too hot. So I got my line here. Got the Palafin switch combo. Checking my resources, making sure I'm not taking extra cards to my hand. Got the combo. Just getting my engine, setting up my board. Here, you're just trying to take momentum, especially against Charizard. Charizard is a deck where you just want to have the momentum, because once they set up, it's very hard to take them out. And so you just want to get the momentum. Um, you know, Charizard is just the deck was literally designed to be just very, very overpowered. So if it feels like it's very overpowered, it's because that's why how it was designed, right? So there's no reason to, overthink um, lines against it. You just want to take the line that'll give you the most momentum on every turn, right? So just knock out the Pidgeotto and let your opponent play the game. He doesn't have a hand. He just wants to get set up. That's how play Charizard plays. You just get set up and you win. Basically, that's Charizard, right? So I'm trying to get my next line here, which is the switch card for the Dunsparce. I mean, the switch card for Palafin. So I have the Surfer, and I want to set up my next Palafin. And so I could have gone for a the Dunsparce here, but again, Charizard is a very chaotic deck to play against, and so you don't want to uh be very conservative with your resources. You just want to just get set up and keep the momentum, right? Because once Charizard gets some momentum, you just can't beat it, right? So really showing kind of how you know just vanilla Charizard isn't really as devastating as it may seem, right? Like you see a lot of Charizard lists today play stuff like Pheasantipity, um, Rotom, stuff like that. Makes the deck look more powerful than it actually is, right? But once if you really have to play the game with Charizard and you don't just get everything in turn one, you can see that Charizard really has to dig and they really have to build a board. They can't just set up a Charizard and win, right? So this person's probably pretty blindsided by the fact that they don't have a 10 card hand and they don't have everything. So just trying to play quick and don't give them a lot of time to put a game plan together, and you just take the game over, right? So I'm doing pretty well. Um, you know, I have a big hand. My opponent has to give up a lot of resources to get set up, and so that's what you want, right? You don't want them to have the Pidgeot down and just be able to just combo. So I have everything. Just analyzing board state. Palafin is not an easy deck to play, right? Like once you get set up, you know you have a one energy attack, all that. But in terms of um, choosing which resources that you want to give up, Palafin is a deck where you need to be um, you can't just play conservatively, right? You have to really just give up stuff so that you can progress your board state, and so you don't give your opponent back the advantage. So it's quick analysis, and we got set back up, right? We have our board. You can see that they can't knock out my Palafin next turn, so I can just keep the momentum, right? Don't have to chase a Pidgey. Just have two cards in hand, and so there's no need to think about knocking out a Pidgey or something like that. So here they push Manaphy. They're trying to protect their board. Still a lot of game to play. I can't one shot a Charizard. Well, I can, but um, it will require me to have another switch. So I don't want them to have the Charizard Pidgeot. So I just gust up the Pidgey. And now they have to play only with the Charizard. They don't have the Candy Charizard, so I got it. Feels good. Beat two Charizards in a row. So I didn't even see if I'm going first or not. um, Either way, still just open up the Dunsparce so you can get into the Palafin, Finizen, sorry, have it. So, I have the Finizen Rotom in hand, but you want to always just in your deck whenever you can. So I just use the Poffin to grab the two Finisons. And so yeah, always take cards from your deck whenever you can, right? So this hand's not even that good anyways. So there's not even a point in revealing that I have Finizen and Rotom in my hand either too, right? It's another key part of getting better at playing Pokemon is that you want to give your opponent as little information as possible. And another Charizard, three Charizards in a row. I mean, that's not a coincidence. I know that for sure because you hit Master, people are trying to hit Arceus, and so you just bring out Charizard, right? So this looks like sort of a interesting Charizard list. Um, so down on me, my hand's looking all right, but I'm just trying to map it out. I don't have the energy, so I'm trying to map out again the energy. But I have knockout, so I'm just gonna go for knockout. Um, Here I'm just trying to thin down so I can get the Surfer. So I have to use a lot of resources here, but again, right, you don't want to be playing very conservatively with Palafin. Palafin thrives on being able to give up resources, to progress your board, right? And so we want to keep the switch there, but you just got to get rid of it so you can get more cards off your Surfer, right? So I go Candy Zard. Just filling up their bench. You can get a good attack off. And bring up my Palafin, which is very interesting. Um, Palafin thrives off of being gusted, because generally you're not going to be able to one shot it, and so saving resources for Palafin is very good. Yeah, I could just take out a knockout on the Entei, but I could take the knockout on the Entei anytime I want. So I just want to get damage on the Charizard, test the setup. Then I can just take out the Charizard, right? So he has knockout here, but I have momentum because he doesn't have another Charizard. He has 3 card hand, so I can definitely take 4 prizes back to back here, right? Because he has to push an Entei, and I can take out the Entei, right? So I'm trying to set up here. So they're trying to avoid taking a 1 prize knockout, and now they just have no choice, right? Top deck the energy search, so I save a lot of resources here. Gives me a very, very good lead. And again, having a good hand size always better because, especially if your opponent doesn't know what's in your hand, their decisions are less informed, and they have to play safer, because they can't risk you having a really good hand, right? They got the Candy Zard again, 0 card hand. Here, they have 0 card hand. So, just like, all right, cool. Play aggressive, just Devo, right? Here, I realized that I could have just attacked first and then Devoed and then just won the game. But, yeah. And I also realized since the Charmander setup, it could just knock me out too. So, yeah, it was a big mistake here. And they top that candy anyways. So, yeah, I really just gave them my lead. And, yeah, Again, I've been playing with a lot of Charizards um, throughout like Great Ball rank and Ultra Ball rank. So definitely, I'm very unfamiliar with Charizard in this format. So so I have the Palafin in hand, and so I can just put it to the bottom of my deck, and then just get it out, and then I can Devo him, and then once I get the energy, then I can just win. I see he has one candy left when I checked his discard, so he has to draw into another candy again. If he gets the one candy, sure, he's got it. Here, he's definitely just digging for the barrel. Checking my water energy count. Here, I'm just trying to get the water. Yeah, this game got pretty chaotic. Got the jet. Oh, yeah, that was painful. And I was like, okay, well, I have Puff and Jet. Checking my discard. Got my Rotoms all in the discard, so I can't win off a Rotom. So I was like, darn. So I just push Palafin because once I just get the water, I can win. And I have switch cards. So top deck the water, right? So yeah, that was a chaotic game. Um, but yeah, these 3 Charizards in a row. It's always good. Give me a Leaf Cup run like that, and I'll be good. Yeah. So yeah, pretty people are pretty scared of playing Charizard right now. And like ultimately, I think it's because um they're realizing that they've been pretty much getting carried by Pheasant Deputy for the last couple of formats, and now that you're not even taking prizes that early because of cards like Badoo and stuff like that. People are just like, okay, well, let me just give some other decks a try, right? So yeah, um, yeah. Uh, I've never been too fond of Pheasant Deputy, so uh, yeah, it was kind of a relief throughout my climb to master to not see a lot of Charizard players. Definitely, it was just a relief, and that's how Pokemon players are. People, that's how they are these days. Very trendy, I would say, and so um, once the deck doesn't lose its power, they just go on to a stronger deck, right? So yeah, all right. So open toxic gear, that's always good. And he flips Regidrago. Didn't really see a lot of that in like Great Ball, Ultra Ball rank either. So yeah, people are just bringing it out for Master. Um, yeah, producing open for him. Oh, if you've been playing a lot in you know, since like Shrouded Fable, pretty familiar with Reggie Dragos having to play very aggressively to get set up. But all you got to do is just you open and you get your 2 attachments on turn one. You're feeling pretty good, right? And with the attract customers and just trying to get the second finish in because again, Reggie Dragos just like incredibly aggressive, and he already has 2 energies on it, so he could just go attach boss, and my uh he can just KO my Finizen, and then yeah, I can't even come back after that, right? So Just instead of playing the Serena there, I just get out two Finisons. Now he cannot KO unless he gets like Cologne. And this is a pretty teched out Regidrago. He has the Halucha. So yeah, this guy's playing like he's gonna win really hard. Clearly, he's underestimating the Palafin deck, right? So he goes Legacy Star, doesn't get a lot. Um, yeah, you know, that's kind of just how Regidrago is. People were playing like two Dragapults earlier when Regidrago was getting popular. Um, I'm assuming this guy probably plays one, so he doesn't get it. So yeah, I get to play the game. And with Palafin, you get to play the game. You're always in a good spot. So I get a choice band. Now I just got to do a bit of sequencing here, make sure I get the attack right. So and again, I play really fast, so it's just not a lot of thinking here. It's just really just Palafin is a very aggressive deck, so you just gotta pretty much play to your outs, right? You can't do a lot of thinking, especially in games where you're not playing against a deck that you're favored with, like Regidrago. So you just got to be very decisive. Right here, he gets two E switches. I'm pretty surprised because even after Legacy Star getting two E switches, it's pretty miraculous. I was breathing a sigh of relief here because he didn't get a Gudra. Maybe it's a surprise. Maybe he doesn't play. I don't know, but it's pretty relieved here that he just attacked with Phantom Dive, so I can just keep the momentum basically, right? And he got a pretty miraculous second Regidrago, so yeah, I'm like, if you get two miracles in a row, I mean, again here, I don't get the Dunsparce for the free retreat, so I have to use an energy so I can retreat, right? Can't just hold the energy. You have to, give it up and keep progressing your board state, right? Yeah, Regidrago's a pretty wonky deck. This guy definitely got saved a lot by his super rods. Um, Otherwise he'd probably have been out of the game after this knockout. But yeah, um, he didn't hit the super rods too early, so he didn't have to discard them, and so he still has a fighting chance basically. There's the Dunsparce. I wanted to just bring up the Regidrago here, but I saw throughout the game that he didn't play any switch cards. So I'm just like, okay, let me just. He has a pretty decent hand and not a lot of cards left in his deck. So I'm just like, okay, let me just continue my board. So yeah, this guy gets two more E switches. I mean, yeah, pretty miraculous. So is on one prize. Can't bet you any more Dunsparces. No, they haven't. Yep. And so can't really do anything there. So just have to scoop, right? Yes, I'm going first. The hand's looking pretty hot. Got two Finizens and a Rotom. You got your board. So Dragapult, Dragapult's pretty interesting. Um, Kind of depends on which Dragapult you're up against, but generally you got a good matchup, right? Because Dragapult is mainly kind of spread, so you can just bully the Dragapults basically, right? So he gets a pretty miraculous hand here. Arvin Ultra Ball plus the energy. All right, so I'm just putting the damage down. If he's trying to set up a board, um, I can just devolution it. Here, I'm just trying to send so I can get to my switch card here, so I can get a knockout. And I whiff. I have the Ultra Ball for the Dunsparce. And I whiff, right? So I'm just looking at board state. I'm just like, yeah. Uh, he wins next turn, so he's got it, right? Pretty miraculous, but you know. So yeah, that was Palafin. Um, Palafin is a pretty cool deck. Um, has a lot of lines, even though its attack is uh very low maintenance. But overall, it's a very good deck. Um, you know, um, it's pretty hard to really get a good grasp on the format, and so as a result, a lot of testing groups kind of decide to just play a lot of overtuned lists, which is fine. But you know, there's definitely a lot of better stuff out there for sure, and I think Palfin's on that list. And so yeah, definitely need to test the Palfin a lot more for this format, and yeah, get a little more familiar with a lot of more matchups, and maybe bring it to a cup or something. Maybe play it at locals, and yeah, um, it'll do what it is, right? So yeah, that was Palafin. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next video.